This video is going to be about the pre-release tasks for coding in Python. So this is task 1. So the first line will print whatever's in the quotation marks, which is this sentence right here. The next line is also print and will also print whatever's in the quotation marks. The next line is the total num of parcels. And this has been set to input, so it will ask the user a question. And the data type has also been set to integer, so only whole numbers can be inputted. The next line is const no parcel, which will now be equal to total num parcel. And right here is counter, which is equal to integer, so only whole numbers, and it is set to 0. This right here is the for loop, and I have set that to const no parcel. So if suppose when I input const no parcel, I input 3, then this code right here in this loop will repeat 3 times. The width here is a variable, and so is the height, length, and weight. They're all input, so they're all asking the user a question, and they all are set to integer, so only whole numbers. So if width is more than 80, then to continue the next line, and reject.append will basically add this code here to the list of things that if it is true for, to add to the collection of things that will go under the name of reject. So it is here, which is height is more than 80, length is more than 80, and the width plus the height plus the length is more than 200. If the weight is more than 10 or less than 1, this will also happen. So right here, so if none of these are true and there are no things that are under the category of reject, then basically your parcel will be accepted, so this code will run, the else. But if there is more than 0 things under the category of reject, then it will print your parcel has been rejected, and this will print out what you exactly did wrong. So if suppose you had 200 centimeters as your width, then it will print out the width of your parcel was more than 80 centimeters and therefore was rejected. Same goes for all of the rest. So this is the end for task 1. As for task 2 and 3, I have used a separate code, but it has the same concept. So the variable here accepted is equal to 0, rejected is also been set to 0, accepted weight total has been set to 0, and so has accepted price total, accepted count, and total weight. I have then used the while true loop, and which means the while means there's basically no limit to how many times you loop. So by using true, until you use the break function, it will never end the loop. By using the break function, you can cut it off. The line after this is print, so it'll print this inside the quotation marks. Same goes here, so the width, height, length, and weight have all been set to integer, and input has been used here, so they're all questions which the user will have to answer. Here, so the variable total weight will add on to the input for weight, then it will become the new input for this variable, which is weight. For this line of code here, if the length is less or equal to 80, and if the height is less or equal to 80, and if the width is less or equal to 80, and if the weight is less or equal to 10, to print accepted. So the next line of code is when accepted weight total, so when this variable is printed onto the screen, it will be added on to the weight and will now be equal to the variable weight itself. As for this line of code, the variable accept count will add on 1. And for this one, if the weight is less than or equal to 5, and if the height is more than 80, and the length is more than 80, and the width is more than 80, to continue to the next line. So the price will then be 10. And then it will print this parcel has been accepted, and the price is, so be it. This has also been set to string, so string is an alphanumeric. The elif function has been used here, so if suppose the first if does not work, this will be executed. So if the weight is more than 5 or the weight is less or equal to 10, the price will then be 10 plus the weight minus 5 times 10 times 0.1. After this, the accepted price total will then be added on to the price and will now be equal to the variable price. And then it will print your parcel has been accepted, and this has also been set to string, and it will print the price. The accepted variable will then add on 1. So if all of these fail, it will be the else function right here that will be executed. So in the end, it will print rejected, and then this will start to run. So if the width is more than 80, do the same as we did in the first task. So all of this is basically the same as the first task, and it's exactly the same. So if suppose the weight is more than 10, or if the weight is less than 1, to go under the category of reject. So if any of these are true, then you will have your parcel rejected. So then, after all of this has been done, the rejected will now be added on as 1. Then it will print out all of your results here, all of your results. And these curly brackets will basically put in your, so basically, as well as that, the curly brackets have been used in order to then add the formatting, which will add in the values for rejected, accepted, and total weight. These will also print out results, so this will print out accepted parcels, which was string, and then accepted count, which is the number of parcels that were accepted. This will print out the accepted weight total, so the total weight of the parcels that have been accepted. As for this line, the total price, so as I was saying, this will be printed out as the input for accepted price total. The next line here is another variable, so the data type has been set to string, so it's an alphanumeric, and input is used here in order to ask the user a question, and this has been represented by another parcel. So if suppose this variable right here, so the answer right here, so if it's yes or no, so if it's yes in all caps or if it's yes in all lowercase, to continue whatever the questions were, so to continue the whole thing again, so continue to ask the question, so what is the weight, what is your height for your parcel. But if suppose they said no or anything else apart from yes, then it will print thank you for using our program, till next time, and it will break, so the loop will end and the program will end right there. Thank you, and this is the end for my